Serious, rent is due tomorrow. What is your situation and is your landlord helping you out? They haven't said a word about it. So, I'm still paying, I guess. Good thing my wife and I are essential workers and have jobs. They have discussed it without you. How could they not? They likely just said hopefully he pays it so we don't have to help. My coworker's landlord, CA Bay Area, is charging no rent for April and is considering a 20% reduction in May. I hope this is a popular trend. I've heard similar things in NYC, but don't take my word for it. I don't have any money and probably will be thrown out soon. I can't pay any of my bills and don't know what to do. I ran away from my family to get a better life, but get paid only like €340. My rent is €210 and I have to pay electricity and gas too. I need food and have to pay my internet. I don't know what to do anymore and I'm about to give up. Since the end of 2018 everything is just going downhill. So yeah. I'm so sorry. Hopefully your local government will enact some sort of protection for you. Where I live, evictions have been frozen for, I believe, 3 months. You are not alone. They should have already asked for help but my dad is basically hidden for the law. He is not registered anywhere and he should be paying me money until I am 21 I think. But because he doesn't pay the government says no, if he doesn't pay you don't need the money. Because if you would need it your dad would pay. I told them the situation and they said not our job to find him so I am basically ducked. My kid's small apartment building, 12 units, was recently bought by an 80-year-old lady. At first we didn't like it cause her first change was from paying the check electronically, to having to drop the check in an envelope through a slot in the laundry room. We thought, she's from another time. But she reached out to my kid to say April rent is 20% of the normal rent, enough to just cover her costs. She offered this on her own. This will enable my kid and her husband to make rent. My kid works part-time for a bank, is at home, doing nothing, and is still being paid, for now. Her husband worked for a hotel and is furloughed without pay, but getting unemployment. This is in the Bay Area and her apartment was already slightly below market rates. I'm lucky. I'm a school bus driver, so I'm obviously not working right now. But the bus company is still paying us. They'd already gotten the money from the school board, so not paying us would be really crappy of them. To my knowledge, the company that owns this apartment complex isn't doing anything. Skeptical can't help but wonder how my neighbors are doing. It's possible that the apartment is making exceptions for rent when people ask for help, but in broad terms, nothing has changed. Literally the opposite. I really dislike how corporate my apartment complex is. All they've been doing is sending out email reminders that rent is still due next month. Seems like bad taste to me. Hello everyone. We know these are uncertain times and, on top of the psychological strain and threats to health and safety, many of you may be experiencing financial distress. Too ducking bad. Rent's due, mother ducker. Your landlord. That's spot on. Crazy how my landlord's income is just my money. Everybody's income is just someone's money, TF? People seem to place no value on the house and building they live in. They think it magically popped into existence out of thin air, or grew out of the ground naturally or something, and the landlord is just the lucky sod who ran over and touched it first and said mine. And now they collect all the monies from everyone around them while rubbing their nipples and cackling maniacally and swimming around in their Scrooge McDuck vault of golden coins. And since that's what they think the world is like, I guess they think it's unfair. Was politely informed it's still due and helpfully reminded I can pay it online. My landlord has been trying to get rent a few weeks early with the promise of a discount so that they don't lose out on a federal rent freeze. My rental management company is not giving any breaks and has informed my complex that while evictions are halted they will continue to push any non-payments to collections. I'm set up to pay this month's rent but it will be about everything that we have left after not working for the past few weeks. I have to keep my phone on and I'm choosing to keep internet on as well. My electric will remain unpaid for a bit until my unemployment finally gets squared away, but that shouldn't be turned off, I hope. I don't have to pay my rent this month because my landlord understands my situation, thank God. My rent is called a mortgage. My landlord is a bank. I have not asked them for help, I just pay the bill. It's good to be an essential worker. In apartment buildings and such, that's what rent is. The property owners have a multi-million-dollar mortgage and use rent from all tenants to pay the bank. There's room for profits, of course. The defining difference, I suppose, is that in 15 or 30 years all of those payments that I am making will turn into a real asset for me. All of those payments being made to a landlord will become a liquid asset to the landlord in the form of profits, and the occupant will be left with nothing to show for it, except a temporary roof over their head. You know what would be a pretty radical idea, would be if, by law, paying rent entitles you to a small slice of ownership of the property you are living in. Like as if the property was a publicly traded company with shares that are bought automatically by paying rent. The more you pay in rent and the longer you live there, the more you slowly accumulate shares in the property while you live there. Eventually, after say 50 years of renting the property, all the shares of it have been distributed to the tenants that rented the place. As an owner, that gives you 30 years to pay off the mortgage, and another 20 years for your estate to collect profits. After that, the building doesn't belong to you anymore and you have to build another property and start over again. The maintenance and ongoing costs associated with running the building would be run by a condo corps, a non-profit organization made up of a board run by the tenants, that gets its money to do the maintenance via condo fees. It would force property owners to build new buildings and would trickle resources from that upper class back down into the lower classes. While that is a radical idea, it is as unrealistic as it is radical. Why are Looney Tunes that were made in the 40s and 50s not in the public domain right now? Because they are still valuable property, and the holders of rights to them have been fighting tooth and nail to keep those rights, even though they should fall into that category by now. I don't see anyone who owns a rental property giving it up for any reason any more easily. It is just not human nature to give up advantages. Even in death, it will still be left to heirs to further exploit to their own advantage. Any law coming up for review would be DOA because so many landlords would be up in arms against it. Then there is the small matter of unlawful search and seizure. It could be applied to this situation where neither the state or the feds have the right to appropriate or redistribute the real property of owner or landlord at any time, let alone an arbitrary 50 years. Finally, what is the benefit to the landlord here? They lose stake in their own business by process of doing business. It's a slow-motion vicious corporate takeover that results in the owner being deprived of their property because government says so, and tenants think it's fair. There is no incentive to keep renters. In fact, it incentivizes letting people live there for a short time to make money off of them, then evict them so that they cannot appropriate shares in the business. You realize that there are other costs associated with operating an apartment complex, don't you? These properties will never be pure profit because we don't have infinite resources. So sure, profits will rise after the building mortgage is paid off, but costs of business will still exist. In an apartment contract you are trading a lower cost of living for ownership. If you want to own property you have to pay those associated costs. I paid my rent a few days ago. I always pay early. But she was also over at my place replacing my AC unit, Freon leaked the last few years, got too bad for this year so she had to bite the bullet. I'm still working and she knows this. I work with her husband, so I don't need any relief from my rent. If I get sick and I needed someone to bring me any supplies, she says she's happy to do it for me. So that's nice. Smile. It makes renting a lot nicer when you personally know your landlord. Bank's going to get its money one way or another. Me and both my two housemates are still employed and mostly working from home. I guess we are lucky, our incomes are not threatened right now. Heck, I only got rent for tomorrow and after that I'm ducked. I got laid off way before this COVID-19 nonsense and have yet to land a job since February 15th. Frown. Not only does my landlord not help me out financially, she comes into my room and does cleaning. She complains about my life direction. Tells me dance theory wasn't the way to go. I'll show her. Ducking mom. My landlord phoned to ask how we were and if we needed any help. We explained that I'm working from home for now, and off from tomorrow but getting full pay with the request, but not requirement, of me voluntarily doing work, and my girlfriend is working at a large home decor / patio / random crap retailer, who is offering zero financial help to staff and are renting fridges and freezers to temporarily sell groceries to keep their stores open, so we told her that we're fine for now. She asked that if the situation ever changed, to contact her immediately. She does not want any of her tenants to be worried about paying rent. Of course, I could have lied and said we were struggling and she would have no idea we were lying, but I figured if she was willing to help us, then it's only fair to say we don't currently need it. Rent is still due, however we're both furloughed. Government pays 80% of our wages in the UK, with our companies making the rest up, so we're on full pay. But I appreciate we are in the very lucky group here. My hometown high school friends still live in that upper middle class area in apartments. And one of the landlords tried pulling a noise fee because there's more people during the day now. They all called bull and refused to pay rent until he took it off their bill. We rent through a property management company. They've been incredibly sweet about everything. They care about us so much that they've sent out a list of places hiring: Amazon, Walmart, grocery stores, etc., in case any of us are short on money this month. Lol. I have savings and some income still, planning on paying my mortgage in full to offset the cost of those who can't. Thankfully my BF and I are still getting paid during this whole thing, but I know not all of my neighbors are. The building owners posted signs around the building saying that rent will continue to be due on the 1st no matter what because there are employees they need to pay. Paid this morning. I'm still working, and really this whole plague has barely changed my life at all. My apartment complex offered $25 off your rent only if you pay early. Paid rent today. I feel lucky because I got furloughed yesterday, and I had saved enough to cover it. I'm still getting paid this week and next week, but I plan on trying to do something to supplement my income during this time. I'd draw, but I've never done commissions before, and I don't think anyone would bite. I'm not sure what to do as far as creating my own income. I don't know how long this is going to last. It just sucks that we're all going through this. Edit, forgot to answer the question. Haven't spoken to the landlord yet. I don't know if they're doing anything to help. My 97-year-old friend owns a commercial building in a suburb. The rent for the merchants is upwards of $7,000 per month. She has 3 tenants. Every one of them is closed and defaulting on their lease. What is my 97-year-old doing to help the tenants? Ducking nothing. Why? Because they signed a lease. Not her problem. She will be totally ducked without the rent money. Can you imagine living to age 97 on this fixed income and suddenly be without a cash flow? She will survive, but the process may very well kill her. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I just want to make enough chicken nuggets that I can get a good boil like this one.